Hello, this is Joe and Jacobi, your Disciple Life coach with another Disciple Life podcast. So today we're going to be talking about procrastination and how procrastination kills. And let me tell you, I know a lot about that because for many years of my life, procrastination was killing me. I was just procrastinating in so many things. I would start and stop, and I would have plans that I knew God was calling me to, but I just didn't know how to break free. So today in this podcast, we're going to talk about the three things that procrastination kills, that uses procrastination to kill us, and three ways that we can overcome them. So let's get right into the podcast. So the first way that procrastination kills is it uses fear to keep us stuck. And I know that that was one of the things that really bothered me for so many years: fear of failure, fear of I wasn't good enough, fear of the unknown. So, just so many fears that I never got the chance to deal with and never really wanted to deal with. And so it was just so much easier for me to just chalk that up to, I don't have the skills or I don't have the resources or whatever different things I could come up with to make the excuse to not move forward, to not take back time, and to not try to overcome procrastination. And so it was just an escape mechanism. And fear will do that to us. And fear will keep us from walking into the things of God. And why God says so many times, fear not, fear not, fear not. He just knows how debilitating fear is. And unless we begin to try to overcome that fear will keep us from pursuing the plans and destiny that God has for us, and really keeping us not living that abundant life, but really living an underwhelming life. So that's the first one. The second one is our past keeps us stuck. And so we are really a product many times of our past, our experiences, the things that we did, the things that happened to us, the hurts, the wounds, the pains, the negative self talk, all these things that in our past are really affecting us in our present. And so every time we want to try to move forward, or every time that we think that we may have an opportunity to move past procrastination, the past comes back to hold us prisoner. If the past is really, for many of us, is a stronghold. And so with so many of the men that I've worked with, so many of the couples my wife and I've worked with, we see this coming up time and time and time again. It's hard to begin to even envision what a future can look like when your mind is just completely clouded with the past. And so that keeps us locked in that into a place of procrastination where we don't want to deal with the past. And unfortunately, we can't move forward in a lot of areas until we come to terms with our past. And that can be very painful. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of courage to be able to face that. But if we're going to move forward and be the people that God has called us to be, if we're going to if we're going to accomplish the plans and purposes that God has for us in our life, we've got to face, number one, the fears, and number two, we've got to face the past. The fear of the past also, that's a double whammy. So it's fear and fear of the past, really, that can keep us from dealing with those things that we need to deal with, and overcoming procrastination and moving forward in walking into the things that God has for us. The third thing that kills us in procrastination is that I just mentioned, it keeps us from walking into the plans and purposes of God. We know that there may be something that God has called us to. We may have a passion in our heart to do something. But again, the past will come back and say, you're not good as that. Or sometimes what we'll do is comparison. We may have something that we have a passion for, or we feel like God's calling us to, but all of a sudden now we start comparing. We look around and we compare ourselves to this person or that person, This person's so much more skilled, or this person is better looking, or this person has better opportunities. And so all these things come back at us to really cripple us and to really cause procrastination, to kill our dreams, to kill our hopes, to kill our vision, and to keep us stuck in a place that, quite frankly, the enemy wants us to be stuck in. The enemy does not want to see you thrive and see you be all that God has called you to be. And so that's the other thing that we have to realize. It's not just our own negative thought process, but it's also a real enemy that is against us and trying to not let us walk into the destiny that God has for us. So I've written a book called Overcoming Procrastination, and I'm putting a link down in the description. That'll help you to start moving forward, to give you some real practical tools to start overcoming procrastination and really take your life back, take charge of your life so that you can move forward in the things that God's calling you to. So let me give you 3 ways that you can actually overcome procrastination. First of all, your unique purpose, your unique purpose. So what's your passion? What's your giftings? Those are the keys there that if you can get a hold of that, if you know what those are, those can really help you move forward. And you can get practical tools like spiritual assessments and different kind of assessments to help you, if you don't already know, what your gifting is, what your passion is, right? Because that's where your purpose is. And once you begin to get an idea of your purpose, even if you don't have an idea of your purpose, just start moving forward. Just start moving. If you have something you like to do, some people it's kids ministry or what food ministry or whatever it is that you feel in your heart that, hey, I think that I think that God may be calling me to that. Now that may not be the unique calling, but it may be a calling for a season. But the idea is getting out there and start moving in the direction of your calling, and God will be faithful to lead you and guide you to where he needs you to be. The second thing to take to help overcome is to take your life back. And the way you take your life back is by time management. Now, I know a lot of people aren't keen on that. A lot of people aren't into, really sitting down and analyzing their lives and different things like that. But if you're going to overcome procrastination, you've got to analyze where your time is going. You've got to really look at where your time is going and where your time's been stolen. Because I guarantee you, if you look at your life critically enough, if you look at your life with a focus and intentionality, you'll find some areas where time is being stolen from you. You're doing things that you may think are good, but aren't productive in trying to get you to where God is trying to take you. So time management is key, and there's a ton of time management tools out there. Again, if you go to my book, Overcoming Procrastination, you'll find some there. I have a course on my website, www.disciplelifeacademy.com. I've got a course there. It's got a ton of tools that'll help you start actually putting these things, making action plans, making goals to begin to move you in the direction that God wants to move you in. And finally is get motivated. You get motivated again by setting some goals, having a dream, having a vision, doing some time management, but set some goals. Set some goals for yourself. Set some goals spiritually. Set some goals financially. Set some goals from ministry wise. Set those goals and then use those goals to develop action plans and then metrics to help look at those action plans and to be able to have these markers so that you can go back and analyze if your action plans are actually moving forward. Now, I know it's a lot, but it's the things that we've got to do to move forward, because if we don't do those things, what's going to happen is we will always stay stuck in procrastination. There'll always be an excuse to why we can't move forward. And quite frankly, we get to a place where we get complacent and we get lazy. And so We can't move into the things that God is calling us to if we're not willing to get up and take action and overcome procrastination. You can do it because the spirit that God puts in you will give you everything you need. You've got to make the decision. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next episode.